stand up for a second. I'm serious. You can sit back down in a moment and press the back of one hand against the wall. Now imagine that simple pressure, held for 30 seconds, could measurably change how much blood your leg muscles receive while you exercise. That's not a sales pitch. That's the starting point for a genuine area of research that most people over 70 have never heard of, because it doesn't come in a bottle and it doesn't cost anything. Today I want to walk you through exactly what the research actually says, what it doesn't say, and what the 30-second wall exercise is, and isn't, doing to your body. What happens to legs after 70? First, some honest context. After 70, two things start working against your legs simultaneously, and most people only hear about one of them. The one everyone talks about is muscle loss, sarcopenia, the gradual decline in muscle fiber size and count that starts in your 30s and accelerates with each decade. But the second one doesn't get nearly enough attention: vascular aging. The blood vessels serving your leg muscles, specifically the smaller arteries and the network of capillaries that branch off them, become stiffer, narrower, and slower to respond to the demands signal your muscles send when they start working. In younger legs, when you begin to walk or climb stairs, your blood vessels dilate rapidly, flooding the working muscles with oxygenated blood within seconds. In aging legs, that response slows. The vessels are less elastic. The dilation is less dramatic. And the result isn't just fatigue, it's the kind of chronic heaviness, cramping, and cold feet that millions of people over 70 experience and assume is just part of getting older. Some of it is, but not all of it. What the research actually shows. Here's where it gets genuinely interesting. A body of research, much of it from exercise physiology labs studying what's called peripheral blood flow, has consistently found that static muscle contractions, meaning muscle effort without actual movement, produce a distinct and measurable vascular effect. When you press a muscle against a fixed surface, a wall, the floor, a door frame, and hold that pressure, you create what's called an isometric contraction. The muscle fibers engage, the metabolic demand rises slightly, and the surrounding blood vessels respond to that demand by dilating. When you release the hold, blood rushes into the tissue in a phenomenon researchers call reactive hyperemia, a surge of flow that, over time and with repetition, has been associated with improved vascular function. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Human Hypertension found that regular isometric exercise, including wall-based holds, produced significantly greater reductions in blood pressure than traditional aerobic or resistance training in head-to-head comparisons. A 2023 meta-analysis in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, reviewing 270 randomized controlled trials, found that isometric exercise protocols consistently ranked among the most effective exercise types for lowering both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Blood pressure and leg circulation aren't the same thing, but they share underlying mechanisms: the health and responsiveness of your blood vessel walls. When those walls become more elastic and better at dilating on demand, your leg muscles benefit too. Now here's the honest caveat, and I'm going to give you the same clarity I always do on this channel. Most of the research on isometric exercise and vascular health uses protocols lasting several weeks, not 30 seconds. The 30-second wall exercise isn't a one-time fix. It's a repeatable daily stimulus. Done consistently, the research typically uses sessions of 2 to 4 isometric holds per day. It appears to be a genuine low-impact option for improving the vascular responsiveness that aging tends to reduce. For someone over 70, that matters, because most traditional cardiovascular exercise protocols assume a level of mobility and joint health that isn't always realistic. If you want more of this, the actual research explained clearly, no supplements to sell, no countdown promises, hit follow right now. The next video covers something that pairs directly with today's topic, and the combination matters more than either one alone: the exercise itself. So what is the wall exercise, and why exactly 30 seconds? Here's what's been studied. Stand with your back flat against a wall. Slide your back down until your thighs are roughly parallel to the floor, or as close as comfortable for your knees. Hold that position. The isometric contraction you create in your quadriceps, glutes, and calves during that hold is the stimulus. 30 seconds is a practical starting point, not a magic number, Studies have used holds ranging from 20 seconds to 2 minutes, typically repeated 2 to 4 times with short rest periods between. If parallel to the floor is painful on your knees, a shallower angle, even just 15 to 20 degrees of bend, still produces measurable isometric work. What matters is the hold, not the depth. What's happening during that hold is layered. The muscles under sustained contraction produce metabolic byproducts, carbon dioxide, lactate, adenosine, that local blood vessels detect as a demand signal. The vessel walls respond by releasing nitric oxide, the same molecule that researchers studying everything from beetroot to dark chocolate keep pointing to as central to healthy vascular function. Nitric oxide causes the smooth muscle in vessel walls to relax, the vessel to widen, and blood flow to increase. After you stand back up and release the hold, that flood of blood into previously contracted tissue is the reactive hyperemia response, and it's that repeated cycle of constriction and release, done consistently, that appears to drive the longer-term vascular adaptations the research has documented. For your calves specifically, which contain the largest muscle pump mechanism in your lower body and are responsible for pushing venous blood back toward your heart against gravity, the wall hold also engages a different benefit. Calf muscles in older adults are frequently underworked, particularly in people who spend significant portions of the day seated. Isometric calf activation during a wall hold directly counteracts the venous pooling that causes end-of-day leg heaviness and swelling. The honest limits. Before I let you go, the limits. If you have knee replacement, significant arthritis, or balance issues that make a wall slide unsafe, this particular exercise may not be appropriate in this form. A physical therapist can help you find an isometric alternative that loads the same vascular pathways with lower joint demand. If you're on blood pressure medication, know that combining an effective isometric exercise routine with existing medication can, in some cases, produce pressure drops that need monitoring, particularly in the first few weeks. This isn't a reason to avoid the exercise, it's a reason to mention it to your doctor, especially if you're starting something new. And the same honesty I gave you on cloves applies here. This is a real, mechanistically sound, research-backed approach with a growing evidence base, but it is not a substitute for managing whatever your doctor is already treating. The research supports it as an addition to a healthy routine, not a replacement for medical care. Here's what I want you to take away. The reason legs feel heavy, cold, and weak after 70 isn't only about muscle. It's about the vessels that feed those muscles. And unlike muscle fiber loss, which is genuinely hard to reverse, vascular responsiveness can be meaningfully trained at any age, with no equipment, no gym membership, and no miracle supplement. A wall, your body weight, and 30 seconds of held effort, repeated daily, is enough of a stimulus to begin that conversation with your cardiovascular system. That's not hype. That's exercise physiology. And it's yours, starting today. If this gave you a clearer picture than what you usually see on this topic, send it to someone who needs it. And follow now, because the next video will blow your mind.